We're going to get a lesson from Dad today about how he's going to plant his butternut squash in the burn pile.
All right, so to begin with, we have two burn piles. One is a burn pile that's been burned repeatedly and has a lot of wood ash in it. The second burn pile is just some brush that was recently burned one time. So there's less ash in that pile, but still enough heat and ash to fertilize the squash and to kill the weeds in that area while the squash is growing. So what we're going to do is, because of the occurrence of dioxins associated with burnt wood ash, I'm using the lesser burned wood pile to grow the squash to minimize the exposure to any possible dioxins. But first we got to break out the unburned brush and clean up the beds before we plant. Okay, so this is a burn pile where we burn mostly brush, but also some scrap wood and some pallets, but not pressure treated wood because it has heavy metals in it. But what is in the burn pile that we're going to remove now with the magnet are all the nails from the construction debris and the pallets.
Where did you get that magnet?
This magnet was salvaged out of an old speaker, and it just tied a string to it and helps not have to bend over. This has been cleaned up twice already, so there's just a few nails left, but I want to make sure that there's none left over to puncture the tractor tires. So here's a nail that's been captured.
So here is just a little bit of what our nail fishing brought us. We got all these nails out of the pile we couldn't see. Here's all the brush we got from the beds. So now we have them cleaned off. And this bed, we're gonna make some hills to plant some squash in. Then Dad'll mow around the edge to give the squash vines area to grow.
That's why a hill doesn't technically mean a mound, it just means a cluster of seeds. So we don't want to disturb the soil too much because we have weed control because of the heat. If we dig too deep, we'll excavate more weed seeds and cause a problem. So we're just making little shallow hills for our squash. Gonna make 3 hills in this bed.
What's the diameter of that bed?
That bed is 8 feet in diameter. We're going to plant disease-resistant squash seeds. It's winter squash. It's called Chieftain, and it's resistant to 3 different diseases, including powdery mildew, which is significant in our area.
Here is my dad's inspector, Mr. Whiskers. Checking out the area. Make sure we cleaned everything up. He's going to go check out the second bed. He's going to see what we got out of it. According to Dad, the rule of thumb is to plant each seed about, how deep, Dad?
4 to 5 times the diameter of the seed. So in the case of a butternut squash, about 1 inch deep.